Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Wednesday. Hey, baby, how's it going over there?
Super duper. How are you?
Very good. That's my beautiful wife, Heidi. My beautiful wife, Heidi. I can't talk right now. We get to hang out and do this program together all the time, which is really cool. I'm very blessed. I get to hang out with my best friend.
I would have to agree. You are blessed.
And you are?
Tired.
Okay. A Russian news agency report said a 104-year-old Russian woman has grown 3 new teeth, making her the oldest person ever to grow new teeth. Because usually, you go through that when you're just a little kid, right? You lose your baby teeth and you grow in your old teeth. Your, what are they called? Adult teeth? Not your old teeth. Well, this lady is 104 and she finally lost her baby teeth.
Your sister still has a baby tooth in her mouth.
My sister does?
Mm-hmm.
I had no clue. I know she's got a baby pinky. Have you seen? Are you talking about Julie?
No, I'm talking about Jamie.
My sister Julie, her pinky is like half the size of a regular pinky on both hands. I don't know why that is. Has nothing to do with teeth, but I suppose.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with teeth at all.
Coming up in a bit, we're going to talk about a scuba diver in the news. That is on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com.
If you're selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. So what do you have to lose? And if you're buying an RV, you got to find the great deals at RVRealtor.com.
Now back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
A scuba diver who drifted for 5 hours after a boat crew left him at sea is suing the diving company for $4 million. That might be a bit much.
That seems a bit extra. Well, how long was he floating at sea?
5 hours.
Oh, just 5
Daniel
hours.
Carlock Jr.
That is way too much.
He says Ocean Adventures Dive Company left him off Santa Catalina Island and lied about his location, which delayed the rescue for 5 hours. So when they got out, they got back and they're like, hey, where's Daniel? He went with you guys. They're like, who? Daniel. You know, the guy with the snorkel and such.
Why would they have lied about his location? Were they somewhere they weren't supposed to be?
I don't know. I think what happened is they felt really bad, like they wanted to be the ones to find him, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, he was out there for 5 hours. It might cost that dive crew $4 million. Just a random observation here. Most companies that do that don't have $4 million. So you can get a judgment, but it's not like you're going to get it.
Right, it's not like you're going to cash in.
You sell all their snorkels and their boat and everything. You're still, what is that, $15,000 maybe? So I doubt that he's going to get $4 million, but good luck to you.
He's not anyway. I mean, that is a ridiculous request for what he went through. Probably. I'm sure it was scary, unless they did it on purpose and were laughing maniacally as they were driving away.
Yeah, that would be bad. Coming up, we've got a newspaper that predicted the future. That's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
You know it's true, Heidi, because we heard it on the radio. I found this on the internet, and I'm reading it on the radio. Newspaper predicts the future. The Columbian newspaper published the Pick 4 Oregon lottery numbers, and they put in 6, 8, 5, 5. Problem is, those numbers hadn't even been drawn yet. Sure enough, that night, guess what the numbers were?
Wow.
6, 8, 5, 5. Upon hearing the news, the Oregon Lottery frantically looked for a leak in their office, saying, okay, there's got to be somebody cheating here. They checked the computers for possible break-ins. They looked at every conceivable way this could have happened. They couldn't find anything. So what did happen, you might ask? Go ahead and ask.
What did happen?
I'm glad you asked. Columbia's computer crashed. They had to scramble to recreate that page. In the hustle and the bustle, they grabbed the wrong state's lottery numbers. Instead of grabbing the Oregon lottery numbers, he picked up the Pick 4 numbers from Virginia. Just turns out that Virginia's Pick 4 numbers that night were exactly the same as Oregon's.
That's crazy.
And a lottery official says people normally have a 1 in 10 million chance of picking the correct numbers, but he says there's no way for us to calculate the odds of a newspaper accidentally printing the wrong state's numbers and being correct. That would blow up our computer.
Wow.
They can't even fathom what the odds are of that happening. But for those of you who got that newspaper and picked those numbers going, oh, hey, this drawing hasn't even happened yet, you were really smart to do that. I don't know that anyone did that. But how crazy is that they had the wrong numbers, but they turned out to be the right numbers. So that's nuts. I suppose anything can happen when you hear it on the radio, right?
I suppose so.
And I have not fact-checked this. This was on the internet. Every story that I read is from the internet, pretty much, unless it's something that really happened to me. But I always like the ones like that is just so unbelievable that you just think it can't be true. But according to this, it is. And like I said, you heard it right here on the radio. Coming up, we've got Your Brain on Drugs. That's on the way on the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is Your Brain on Drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is Your Brain on Drugs. There's a group of people drinking heavily and shooting off fireworks at the same time. That's not a good idea.
No.
In this neighborhood, it's illegal to shoot off fireworks, so the neighbors called the cops. They showed up. One of the drunk individuals decided, I'm going to hide those fireworks. Guess where they put them?
Where?
In the oven.
Was the oven on?
Yeah, he forgot. He was really drunk. He forgot that he also just threw in a pizza.
Oh, my God.
So about 30 seconds later, the oven was turned up to make dinner. You can imagine what happened next. At about 3 a.m. is when all this was going on. The kitchen was blown to smithereens. The walls were blown out. The oven flew right through one of the walls. Flying glass caused slight injuries. Otherwise, nobody was hurt. So it was a little glass that was kind of like shattered onto people, but nobody was really hurt. But that oven is toast. That's a bad idea. And that's what happens when your brain is on drugs. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVRealtor.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
I've got tattoos. You've got tattoos.
I do. I have lots of tattoos.
But they're all tasteful. It's not like we have terrible things. But getting a tattoo, you wouldn't necessarily consider this your moment of duh, but this guy, probably. Riverside County, California, 31-year-old Michael Machete, I love that name, filed a lawsuit against Bullseye Tattoo and the owner, charging the tattoo removal he had done on his neck infected him with a flesh-eating disease called necrosizing fasciitis. That doesn't even sound fun. He said he went there for the removal because his coworkers complained about an obscene phrase on his neck. He decided to replace the tattoo with what he thought was more appropriate, 666.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, that's what he's like, I don't like that tattoo. I'm going to go in and get another one I ain't going to like. So he went in and did that while the guy was tattooing the 666.
Well, then I would call that karma.
Doing his little cover-up, that's when that happened. So there you go. Mr. Machete, I'm sorry to hear about your misfortune, but I think you got a lot going on that, maybe needs a little bit of help. So I'll be praying for you. This has been your moment of duh. Your scoop of the day is on the way.
The John and Heidi Show podcast is brought to you by DirecTV.
They have big-time savings going on right now, so you can sign up and save. Get all the details at 1-800-259-7646.
Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com.
Quite possibly the best way to buy an RV or to sell an RV. They're like a realtor for your RV. Check out RVRealtor.com.
And the Dollar Shave Club.
Get amazing razors for $1 a month, and for a few bucks more, they'll bring them right to your door.
Sign up today at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
And this is your scoop of the day. Police arrested a drunk guy in Indiana after they say he walked into a stranger's house dressed in only boxer shorts and sat down and started eating potato chips. So apparently that's illegal in Indiana?
What's wrong with that? That's a typical Saturday night for me.
We will soon say goodbye to cables. Researchers at the University of Washington has successfully tested Wi-Fi charging. The researchers equipped a variety of devices with sensors to take Wi-Fi signals from an off-the-shelf router and turn them into DC power. Special rechargeable batteries will charge up to 28 feet away. So while your phone is sitting on your desk, it'll be charging from the Wi-Fi. How cool is that?
That is cool.
Now
that is something useful.
It's neat. I talked to a guy 8 years ago about this technology. He was working on batteries for this.
Right.
8 years ago. So
Nice.
It's finally seeing the light of day. I wonder if he's involved. I hope he is. It'd be really cool. Google has apologized for putting Nazi concentration camps in the mobile game Ingress. I've never played the game. I don't know what that is, but apparently they did something they said later. Oh, we shouldn't have done that?
That might have been in poor taste.
In retrospect. Maybe we shouldn't have put Nazi concentration camps there. According to the CDC study, 9 out of 10 teenagers are not getting enough fruits and veggies. 9 out of 10.
I would say it's probably 10 out of 10.
No, there's that one kid that says, I like apples. The rest of them are like, can I have a Snickers? Some health experts are now saying that advances in science will eventually enable humans to live decades beyond current age trends. I see that already. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older, but I remember when I was younger, people my age were old. Now I'm this age, I'm like, well, I'm not so old.
We're young. We're spring chickens.
Exactly. What do they say? 50's the new 30?
Until we try to get out of bed in the morning, it's like,
ooh, what was that? That was my bones. Sorry. Listerine financed a poll that asked, what's the most embarrassing thing that can happen on a first date? We talked about this. They said that the most embarrassing thing was bad breath.
There's no way.
There's no way that can be true, because there are things that are way more embarrassing. I mentioned some last time, and we won't go there this time. Finally, technology is providing something I've been waiting for decades. Gmail is making it possible to unsend emails.
I think we talked about this too, but I think that is brilliantly awesome.
Undo send is a formal setting on Gmail's web. Undo send allows people to use Gmail to cancel a sent email that they, it's for second thoughts. So you send something and you're like, ha, there you go. Ooh, wait a minute. That was my boss.
They have it for text now too, right?
I don't know. This is Gmail that I'm talking. I don't know if they probably do. Allows users to wait a little bit of wait time before the email actually goes out, allowing a cancellation period. Oh, so this one doesn't send it instantly. It sits there in queue, and then you go, wow, I probably shouldn't send that. I wondered how that would work.
Text is where you need that technology.
Yeah,
because I've sent texts where I'm just like,
yeah, there are some that I think is Retext, or there's a company there's an app, whatever, something that does that. Moving on. A new study finds that poor posture from texting is becoming an epidemic.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, our son is 18, and he's kind of hunched over. I'm like, hey, sit up straight, buddy. Come on. But he's on his phone all the time. Detroit police have arrested 5 suspects in connection with a robbery of a McDonald's. According to witnesses, the criminals, who all wore bandanas over their faces, seemed very organized, and they appeared to have even rehearsed the robbery in advance. However, once inside the car, one of the suspects threw his bandana out the window, didn't realize that it got caught on the car's antenna, where it acted like a waving flagpole for police to find the car. So it was like, hey, it's this car over here that's got the bandana hanging off the antenna. Yeah, those are the guys. And over here, our strange law. In Nogales, Arizona, it is illegal to wear suspenders.
Really?
I don't know why. Urkel would not be welcome there.
Huh.
So it is illegal to wear suspenders in Nogales, Arizona. Thanks for listening on a Wednesday. This has been your Scoop of the Day.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by Rough Tough Kennels.
If you have a puppy or a big dog, Rough Tough Kennels has something that's just right for you. They have kennels that are strong enough that I can stand on top of them, but they're cozy enough for your furry little best friend. Learn more and see the different sizes available at roughtoughkennels.com.
That's RUFF. toughkennels.com.
Thank you so much for joining us on a Wednesday. I've got a special guest on the line today. I have Selena Shilad. She's the Executive Director of the Alliance of Aviation. Hello, Selena. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Now, June was a pretty darn big month for you guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were very excited. Many of our local partners actually worked with the governors and local states to pass proclamations. So in total, Colorado, Delaware, South Dakota, Nevada, Idaho, Washington, Wyoming, all had proclamations recognizing the importance of aviation and general aviation to the state and local economy. So that was good and really helps to raise awareness about what is general aviation and how important it is to local communities.
And think about this. It was just a little over 100 years ago that flight itself was impossible. You could ask anybody, no, we can't fly. And all of a sudden, Wright brothers come along and prove that you can. And look how far aviation has come over the last, 100 and maybe a dozen years. So it's absolutely amazing to me how I couldn't even imagine a world without aviation anymore. Could you?
No, absolutely not. And that's part of this is that, aviation is so important. General aviation, most people know commercial aviation, but general aviation is a really important component of that. And it just drives so much economic activity and really is a lifeline to communities around the nation, whether it's disaster relief, firefighting, law enforcement, medical care, you name it. It's a really crucial part of our infrastructure and national economy.
Now, let's talk for a moment about the Alliance of Aviation. How long has this organization been around?
We've been around for 7 or 8 years, and actually we work to raise awareness about the value and importance of general aviation in particular. And our website is aviationacrossamerica.org. Actually, there's kind of an economic impact data tool on there. You can look up the economic impact of general aviation for any state in the country, and actually for many states across the country, your local economic impact. So you can put in your local zip code and actually find the economic impact of general aviation in your local community for your local airport.
Very nice. And what is that website again? Because I want to go check it out now. You got me interested.
Sure. It's aviationacrossamerica.org.
And then we can just punch in our zip code, and it'll kind of talk about the impact that general aviation has on our local area.
Yep, for most states. There are a few states that we have data missing for, but for most states that's the case. And for every state, you can get the statewide economic impact.
How in the world do you even collect this data? That has to be really difficult to get, but thank you for doing it. How do you guys get that data?
It is definitely quite a task, but we work with a lot of wonderful state and local partners, including many of the state aeronautics, aviation, and transportation directors in the local governments who are excellent about kind of keeping track of that data and really are the ones who work with us to make sure that we can have the most accurate, up-to-date data and that's updated. But it definitely takes a lot of work. So we have some good people here on the staff who really help to make that happen.
Very nice. Again, on the line today with Selena Shilad. She's the Executive Director of the Alliance of Aviation Across America. I was just the other day, this is maybe a month ago, I was sitting in our backyard. It was a beautiful, crystal clear day, and I love looking at the clouds, and I saw like 3 different airplanes in the sky, and I got to thinking, we just take for granted. These things are flying over the top of us all the time. You don't even look up anymore. You hear an airplane, you don't even look up because we take that for granted. But imagine, 100 years ago when people started flying, a little over 100 years ago, if there was an airplane flying over, everybody would stop what they were doing. They'd come out of the house and look up and watch this thing because it was such a marvel. And now it happens so often, and it happens, every day all over the country. We just kind of take it for granted. But thank you guys for what you're doing to let people know that there's a huge impact with this general aviation on each and every community. It's just amazing to me how we just take it for granted, though.
Absolutely, it really is. And again, if your life isn't touched by it in some way, people don't realize all the different services and economic activity that depends on aviation.
Now more than ever, we depend on aviation. People buying things, whether it's buying something online or if you even just sending a card or a letter, chances are all of those things that come to your door, they didn't come just on a truck, although thank you to the trucks that bring them too. But most of the time they go up in an airplane, then to a distribution center. And it's just amazing the technology we have today. It just fascinates me.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for doing what you do. Is it an annual thing now where it will be every single June will be General Aviation Appreciation Month?
We hope so, and we certainly encourage our local state and local partners to do that. So we would love to be on next year at that time, and hopefully we'll have another proclamation to talk about.
That sounds great. Well, Selena, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today.
Thank you so much.
Again, Selena Shilad right there, the Executive Director of the Alliance of Aviation Across America. And I'm going to go on right now and check my local zip code, see what kind of impact it has on this area. And you can do that too. Go to the website, aviationacrossamerica.org. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. You know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. I really didn't think you were going to ask today. I thought I had to nudge you to wake you up. Today is Wednesday, the 8th day of July, and today is Math 2.0 Day. Now, I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. I have no interest in finding out.
I do think that's what I got for a grade in math, is 2.0 out of 100. Today is also Scud Day. You know what Scud Day is?
I have no idea what
it stands
Scud
for
Day.
Savor the Comic, Unplug the Drama Day. So it's a day to enjoy comedies and not enjoy dramedies. Something like that. So Scud Day. Savor the comic, unplug the drama.
So far, none of these days are...
Well, you're supposed to just have fun. Have a little comedy in your life today. So there you go. Scud Day, Math 2.0.
You should have fun every day. That should be your goal every day.
That is my goal every day.
Yeah.
How do I do most days?
Yeah.
Pretty good. I do. I have fun almost every day. There's some days that I'm like, I wish I could do that day over again. But this is not one of them. Today is Wednesday, the 8th day of July.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVRealtor.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Thank you so much for listening on a Wednesday. It's the John and Heidi Show, and I got a story here that's kind of an interesting story. It says, Nicholas Winton passed away last week at age 106 in a hospital near Maidenhead in his hometown of West London. Now, have you ever heard of the name Nicholas Winton?
No.
We should all know the name because according to ABC News, even though we probably don't recognize that name, there are 650 children who certainly do recognize the name. Because Winton was a 29-year-old clerk at the London Stock Exchange when he almost single-handedly saved more than 650 Jewish children from the Holocaust, earning him the label Britain's Schindler. Winton arranged trains to carry children from Nazi-occupied Prague to Britain, battling bureaucracy at both ends, doing everything he could to make this happen. Even though they said you can't do it, he said, I did it anyway. And he saved them from almost certain death. 650 children are alive, maybe not all of them alive today, but at least survived the Holocaust because of one man, Nicholas Winton. He just passed away last week at age 106.
I think I watched a video online where they surprised him and took him to an auditorium, and they were doing a big presentation, and everybody else in the crowd other than him was all children that he saved.
And I think I saw the same video, and it was children and their grandchildren.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And when you think about this whole auditorium filled with people who probably wouldn't even be alive today if this man hadn't made the decisions that he made. So very cool. Really sad that he passed away, but he was 106.
He lived a very good life, and he's in heaven.
That is just an awesome thing. Again, the guy's name is Nicholas Winton, and he passed away last week, I believe it is, just outside of London, and he is what they refer to as Britain's Schindler. So very, very cool. Thank you so much for listening on a Wednesday. You're tuned in to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
A stray dog in Alabama survived 12 days with his head stuck in a pickle jar. Yeah. The dog was trying to get some pickled pig's feet. He got his head stuck in the jar. He proceeded to run around that way for about 2 weeks. The poor pooch went for 12 days with no food or water. A local vet said the dog only survived so long without water by getting moisture from the condensation and forming inside the jar. The jar remained on his head for so long because nobody was able to catch him. Finally, after a community effort to help the scared and disoriented puppy dog, police were able to catch the mongrel and remove the pickle jar. Mongrel? Don't put that in there. Isn't that a derogatory name? The dog's head was almost bald by the time they finally freed him from the empty plastic jar after nearly 2 weeks. So there you go. Thank you so much for listening. I'm so sad to hear that because that doesn't sound nice at all.
What a poor baby.
Exactly. But the good news is they got the jar off of his head now. So there you go. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club.
You can get razors every month for just $1. And for $2 more, they'll bring them right to your door. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more.
That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
For those of you who wear a tie to work, this might not be good news for you. Listen to this headline. Neckties can cause blindness.
Ooh.
Oh, you're over there.
Hey. You haven't worn a tie in
years. It has been a while. We're always looking for ways to get out of wearing ties, right, men? Casual Fridays. That's enough. Now we do casual Mondays. Why not Wednesdays? No tie Tuesdays. Who needs a tie Thursday? Hey, we're set. Anyway, if you're looking for ways to get out of wearing your necktie, I don't know if your boss is going to agree with this particular argument, but it's worth a try. Doctors from the glaucoma service at New York's Eye and Ear Infirmary report that men's neckties could be causing you to become blind. They found ties worn too tightly can increase blood pressure inside the eyes within minutes, and that's the most important risk factor for glaucoma. So loosen that tie up a little bit. You don't need to wear it too tight anyway, but there you go. So if you're wearing a tie, loosen that sucker up a bit.
Well, yeah, why would you want it tight anyway? I mean, you would be so uncomfortable day long.
I know. I don't wear them. That's why. I have to wear ties every once in a while, but I
you can wear them slightly loose. Yeah. There's no reason they need to be choking you.
Coming up, we're going to talk about the metric system, so get your calculators ready. That's on the way. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Do you know how the metric system works, Heidi? We live in the United States. We don't really use that.
No, we don't
here.
use the metric system.
I see, like, on my speedometer where it says how many kilometers per hour, too. And I'm like, what does that mean? I'm not sure. But that's all metric. And then centimeters and millimeters, that's all metric. And then, like, if you have wrenches that don't say, like, 3/4, it just is, like, 7. It's like 7 millimeters. Is that what that is? Anyway, the metric system... I'm not saying that it's bad. For those of you that love it out there, maybe it is good. And there is a presidential candidate right now that is saying that we should adopt that in the United States.
Now, why would we redo everything we've learned?
Presidential candidate Lincoln Chafee says an important part of his campaign platform is for the United States to adopt the metric system.
Yeah, he's not going to win. First of all, I don't even know who he is.
He's Lincoln Chafee. He's that metric dude. You know the metric dude. I can tell you this. I think it's going to be a really tough fight to get people here to say, I like that. But I understand what he's saying. Listen to this. He's going, let's be like the rest of the world. You know, if we're all on the same page as far as sizes and metric things, it's going to cause less issues. Because right now, we've got our standards, they have their standards, and then we have to adopt them.
It's worked fine for how many years?
It has, but it's also caused issues where people translated it wrong, and then they had the wrong measurements, and then there was disaster. So that's where I think he's on the right track, but I don't think I would talk about that in my campaign. I'd wait till I was elected.
Sneak that in through legislation later.
Once you get elected, you're like...
slip that right in through Common Core. That's already in place. We can indoctrinate the whole world.
What I'm saying is, it's like sneaking the medicine, put it in a spoonful of sugar, make some medicine go down. Get in there first, and then tell us, oh, by the way, you're going to have to learn the metric system.
I don't think we have to worry about it.
For those of you that don't know anything about the metric system, I'm not sure about this, but I think I'm right about this. I'm trying to translate here. I think 8 nickels is a pair of dimes, right? 8 nickels a pair of dimes. 453.6 graham crackers is 1 pound cake.
What are you talking about?
I found some stupid translations.
I will say I can for sure relate to the confusion.
I don't know how that works.
With the two.
Yeah.
Because when I was in Sweden,
yeah,
a friend of mine wanted me to cut her hair, and she's Swedish, and she asked me to cut off 2 centimeters. I cut off 2 inches.
Meanwhile, her friend was
I was
bald.
like this. I cut off a big chunk. I'm like this. She's like, oh, no,
not that. All right. Thank you so much for listening on a Wednesday.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by Rough Tough Kennels.
If you have a puppy or a big dog, Rough Tough Kennels has something that's just right for you. They have kennels that are strong enough that I can stand on top of them, but they're cozy enough for your furry little best friend. Learn more and see the different sizes available at roughtoughkennels.com.
That's RUFF, toughkennels.com.
Imagine a school counselor suggesting that you purposely fail your classes at college. That happened to a Texas A&M University student. You find yourself failing 3 classes, so do you make a personal pact to study harder, transfer to a less challenging school, or sue the university? Jennifer Temple opted to sue the university. And her claim is an academic counselor recommended that she intentionally fail 3 classes. She said she wanted to drop the classes, but her student advisor told her that you're going to lose your parents' health benefits if you do that. And she claimed the counselor told her that she should fail the classes because of an A&M rule allowing freshmen to exclude as many as 3 grades of a D, F, or U, which is unsatisfactory, from their transcripts. So, taking the advisor's advice, she quit attending classes completely, thinking she could exercise the grade exclusion policy. But when she went to transfer to another school, she found that other colleges, like the University of Texas, would not accept the grade exclusions. She was rejected because of the 2 Fs and the 1 D in her transcript. So now she's suing to have her transcript changed and her legal fees paid for, and hopefully change the policy at A&M. So she's suing because my advice from my counselor was to just fail, not to quit.
But he also didn't tell her to transfer schools either. That was her own stupid fault. If she would have stayed where she was at, his advice would have been accurate.
And I really, truly think that his advice was not just quit going to class. That's what she did.
No, she should have tried her best.
Yeah, try your best.
Still tried to pass.
Do what you can. I understand if you're not going to be an A student, you're not going to be an A student. But you can get rid of some of those grades.
And he probably was saying, worst case scenario, if you fail them, you can exclude 3. Yeah, I mean
I think we solved this. So
I think so too.
Should we just call
her
and tell her?
What do you need lawyers for at all?
What's the lady's name again? Jennifer? Jennifer. Tough stuff, kid. Buck up, kiddo.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
How much is she suing for?
It doesn't say. So I have no idea. I wish that they would put all the details in these stories that you ask me, but they never do. I read everything on the page, and that's all I know.
I have an opinion, and I probably should keep it to myself, and I think I will just exercise that right.
Look at the time, Heidi. It's time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And our bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. They love to give you little bonuses. I got some groovy hair gel. I'm actually I used some of it like a month ago when I first got it, and then I left the rest in there. I'm going to use the rest of my hair gel today. I'm going to get all snazzy looking.
Okay.
Just for you, because you deserve it, baby.
All right.
But we got a couple of fun things we're going to talk about in our bonus break. Again, brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Learn more about them at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. So, what do you believe? How many people believe in God as opposed to ghosts? How about UFO believers as opposed to people that believe in Jesus? I've got the result of a very interesting survey. 41% of Americans believe ghosts are real. But that's not all. According to a Harris poll, 35% believe in UFOs. 31% think witches are real. 29% put their faith in astrology, and 21% believe they'll be reincarnated after death. There was a survey of 2,455 U.S. adults. Did they call you?
No.
They didn't call me either. They found that 82% believe in God, and that number has remained pretty constant for several years. You want more? Well, I've got it. 1 in 5 Americans describe themselves as very religious, while 49% say they're somewhat religious. Half of born-again Christians say they attend church every week, compared to 30% of Roman Catholics and 34% of Protestants. More people believe in the devil and hell and angels than believe in Darwin's theory of evolution. 62% believe in devil, hell, and angels. Darwin's theory, 42%. Born-again Christians are more likely to believe in the traditional elements of Christianity, such as miracles, than Catholics or Protestants. 16% of born-again Christians, compared to 43% of Catholics and 30% of Protestants, believe in Darwin's theory. 60% of born-again Christians, but only 43% of Catholics, believe in creationism. Born-again Christians are also more likely to believe in witches, while Catholics are more likely to believe in astrology and reincarnation. And about 1/3 of all adults believe the Bible is the Word of God. So there you go. That from a recent survey that I thought was very interesting from Harris.
That's refreshing, I think.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff on there. So, I got a question for you, Heidi.
Yes.
Looking at this, do you believe in ghosts?
I think that, I think to a certain extent, not probably to the extent that, they're here to torture people, but I do believe that, we all have a Holy Spirit. I believe that we all have a soul and a spirit. So yes, I believe that some could get lost, maybe. Yeah.
I believe in ghosts. I really do. There are some things that I can't explain any other way. So, what else was on there? UFOs. Do you believe in UFOs? 35% of Americans do.
No. I mean, not that I don't think that there's life elsewhere, but I don't think they're here taking people and harming people.
Here's my thought. My belief is that if there are UFOs somewhere else in the universe, if they're, because they're unidentified flying objects, if there's somebody else or somewhere else, I think that they would look like us. I don't think that they'd be little green men. I don't understand that.
I think we'd be pretty arrogant to think that...
You look at every one of those stars...
That only our planet has any sort of a life on it at all. I'm sure there is another I'm sure there is other life out there elsewhere, yes. So
and they could be created by the same creator that we have. And if we're made in his image, why would they be made in some other image? That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know.
What else do we have in here? I don't believe in witches. I don't think. Do you believe in witches?
No.
I don't know why that. But 29% people think that they're real, and 21% put their faith in astrology. I don't really know what that even is. I know I'm a
like
Sagittarius.
your horoscope and all of that. That's all.
If I do read those, it's because we're laughing about it. And you're like, oh, that's pretty close to you. You're an idiot. It says you're an idiot. And 82% say they believe in God. I definitely do that. So,
yes.
There you go. So that's very cool from Harris Interactive. I wonder who gets these calls. I never get calls for this stuff. Ever.
No.
Nobody has ever called me and said, oh, let me take that back. I have gotten a couple of calls. And they weeded me out after the first 2 questions. Remember that one day?
I do.
And they called and they're like, do you have...
Which is very interesting.
This will take 15 minutes. And I was like, yeah, I got 15 minutes.
This tells you all you need to know about most polls, by the way.
2 questions, and they're like, well, that's all we have. I was like, I thought it was 15 minutes. Click, they hung up. I was like, well, that's apparently not what they were looking for. But they asked for my political persuasion and, which news programs I watched, something like that, and then they were done with me. They're like, yep, we're done with you.
And what you thought of the job that the president was doing. And then,
they're
okay,
like,
thank you, we're done.
We're all done, so you have a great day now.
Yeah, so if
we want to find people who
The
agree with
results of
us.
that poll were swayed, that would be why.
We're really looking for people who are going to say yes to something.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I don't think you're going to.
We've made 7,000 phone calls. We haven't found one yet.
Hang in there, kids. It's on the way. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Your bonus break has been brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can learn more about those crazy cats at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.